Welcome back to 6-Minute Sessions. I'm your host, Jonathan Sixtos, licensed, certified Texas public educator for 9 years, if you can believe that. And today we are talking about technology. Now, if you have worked with me for any length of time or you've known me for a while, you know that I am an avid user of technology. I don't have a problem. I can stop at any time. But today we're going to talk about the intersection of education and technology. And I'll start off by saying this. Technology has a way of pushing our buttons. Now, obviously, that's a pun. I am an English teacher, but I want to start with a core truth here that technology is simply a vehicle to deliver information. And if the information that we are trying to deliver is without merit, then the technology is not going to save us from that. Sometimes some teachers think if I take a mediocre lesson and I add technology, everything's going to be better. I will say that there are some active, engaging methods of incorporating technology into a lesson that really stir up the kids. But that doesn't mean that technology becomes the lesson. Now, there are some how-tos, there are some learning curves, and I'll also say that many of our students are more familiar with technology than some of us because of the rapid advancement in the field of electronics, specifically consumer electronics. If you have ever heard this before, you know what I'm talking about. There is more computing power in the cell phone in most of our pockets than the machines that helped put man on the moon. And as we look forward to continuing to utilize technology, my particular district is moving towards a one-to-one environment where we're going to be using Chromebooks, and every student will have that machine available. Here's what I have to say about technology. Technology is not the savior of education. I don't want anyone to think, well, if we just add technology, that'll fix our problems. The issues that education as a whole still has to deal with will not be solved solely by technology. Now, we can definitely utilize technology in innovative ways to help solve many of those problems, like I talked about earlier. Many of our underserved communities, with the benefit of technology, will now have more access to resources. Students who have the computer, who have the infrastructure available to access the internet, will have more resources available, and that'll help close some learning gaps. That'll help bring some achievements more towards the markers that we have in place. But when it comes to technology, I don't want anyone to think if we just throw technology or just throw money at the problem, that'll fix it, because technology itself will not save education. Now, I love technology. I advocate for it, and maybe later on I'll do kind of a takedown video of the things that I use here in the home office, the things that I use in my classroom, maybe even the things that I use for ministry, because I feel like that would help many of you out. But I want you to realize that technology is simply a way of transmitting, of broadcasting, of augmenting the information that you already have. So in education, we have to make sure that the base information is engaging, that it is enticing, that it draws the students in. Then we incorporate technology to amplify that effectiveness. See, teachers who use technology appropriately are not better teachers simply for their use of the technology, of the electronic means or the interactive resources. They are simply using these tools, because that's what technology is, a tool, to supplement their delivery. So my encouragement to those of you out there thinking, well, I've got to get the latest computer, I've got to get the best microphone or the best lights or the best whatever you think that you need, or whoever's trying to sell you something, because we as educators know how that works. There's always someone wanting a slice of that government-funded pie. But technology itself will not save education. I'm not saying that it's doomed without technology, but I'm saying we have to be judicious in how we marry the two together. We cannot say that it is simply technology that is going to take over the classroom, because guess what? Technology brings its own problems. Remember, I started off by saying that it has a way of pushing our buttons. So whether you have enough chargers in the classroom or whether something goes wrong, screens aren't working, connectivity issues, there will always be a problem when you incorporate a new system. But if we can make sure that the information, the lessons that we are providing are active, engaging information, then if the laptop dies, if the stream doesn't go live, if the sound system has something going on, we can still deliver that information. I embrace the use of technology, but we must never become over-reliant thereupon. In fact, many of my students throughout the years have been in lessons where the computer crashes or the mic cable's not working or something goes wrong, and in that moment, they learn how I deal with the frustrating aspects of technology. And that's a lesson that cannot be taught through a computer. That's something that has to be seen live, seeing how people deal with stress, seeing how people treat technology not as a savior, but as a tool. And that's my encouragement to you as educators. Try out the newest, shiniest, latest gadgets. But remember that you, the educator, are the one who decides how to incorporate that into the classroom. And like I said, stay tuned for an upcoming episode where I break down the things that I use in order to deliver that information. Thanks for tuning in to 6 Minute Sessions, and I'll see you next time.